Welcome back. This is episode 101 of the Unjaded podcast. We've been at it just over a year here and we are at over 100 episodes. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And today we're going to talk about Instagram or Facebook stories. I'll probably say Instagram more than I say Facebook because that's how I roll. But you can apply what I'm saying to Facebook if that's your platform. I get this question a lot. One of the things is how to build trust, how to show up consistently in my content. And I'm a big believer, especially when you're just starting out, of really getting into your stories on social media for a few reasons. One, people get to know you. Two, people love to see your real life. And we're going to talk about how much of your real life you need to, in air quotes, show. And three, they're very temporary. Stories only last for 24 hours. So you don't have to have that kind of angst inside of you that, oh my God, this is out in the ethers forever, because it's not. It's 24 hours and it's gone. Back in 2021, I think, late 2021, I intentionally stepped away from Facebook. I had a very large following on Facebook. I had groups of about 5,000 people and, personal followers, I don't know, over 3,000. And I intentionally stepped away from that platform to build my human design business more on Instagram than on Facebook. Facebook was getting to be, in my opinion, very toxic at the time. There was a lot of drama, there was a lot of division, there was a lot of hatred. I'm sure you remember those days. And I chose to do something differently. And I thought it was easier. Okay, so this is a little bit of manifesting generator conditioning. It kind of felt like, oh my God, here I go again with something different. And I don't want to do something different with all of this judgment that's surrounding me right now. So I intentionally stepped over to Instagram and started to build there. And it was really, really scary because I didn't really understand the platform. I'm not a visual person. I don't do pretty creative things. I use words. And my feed, it's never been really super aesthetically pleasing. I always say that it looks like a dog's breakfast. And somewhere along the way, I learned to be okay with that. Yes, I would like it to be a little tighter. Yes, I'm working with rebranding right now. But at some point along the way, I was able to just say, you know what it is, and it's all me, and it's authentic to me. And you can feel my energy in my feed. And how I got there was by getting really comfortable storying, getting really comfortable showing my life. The reason that it was easier to start there was because I knew that it was only going to last for 24 hours. So if I screwed up or if something was ugly or if the message didn't land, it was going to be gone in 24 hours and I didn't really have to worry about it. It was going to follow me around for life. So I love that about stories is that it's really a place to play. And all social media is a testing ground. All social media is just playing in the energy of this post versus this hook versus that hook versus this caption versus that caption and just seeing what people are going to respond to so that you can create more of it. It is the ultimate testing ground for your content. But stories make it feel less intense, in my opinion. The other thing that I really had a hard time kind of grappling with stories, and my daughter, she's an online business manager and she helps me a lot with this. She would always say, "Well, people need to know. Well, people need to know. Well, people want to know." And I'm sitting here going, "Who cares if I'm having a date night with my husband? Who cares if I'm at the market? Who cares if I'm driving to Myrtle Beach?" But people care. People want to see behind the scenes of your life because it makes you more real. I think that in stories, it gives people really a grasp of who we are as personal brands. So you may be watching influencers and thinking you have to do it like they do it, but it's really different for personal brand because we show up in a completely different way and our people need us to show up in a completely different way. And no, you don't have to show them your whole life. You get to choose how much of your life you want to show. And one of the little tricks for working with your stories is to start to think about the things that you're doing through the lens of your business. So if you're driving to Myrtle Beach, it could be like, yay, I'm celebrating this big birthday that I'm having. And I love that I'm in on the entrepreneurial space and I get to be able to do this. It could be talking about selling your digital products while you're on vacation. It could be date night with your husband because relationships are a priority and being an entrepreneur allows you to do that on your own schedule. It could just be that, hey, it's date night with my husband, right? People want to see our lives as well. It could be I'm shopping and I found this new pair of shoes. It's think of your stories like you're talking to a friend. So you're not showing up maybe for your audience, and I'm putting that in air quotes like it's a big performance. You're showing up and you're being really real. I love to do mini trainings in my stories. I'm actually overdue for one right now because you're going to get questions from people coming in your stories, or you're going to see on social media people asking things, and you're going to be able to respond to that. And doing a mini training in your story can be really a good way to build credibility. The thing is with your stories, it's a way that you can build trust with your people, and it's a way that you can build rapport with your people. Your people are following you for a reason. They want more of you. They want to understand you. They want to feel like they're with you. They want to be in relationship with you. And stories give you a really good way to build that know, like, trust factor. And when you're doing things through the lens of your business, you're also building that credibility. When you're sharing, if you're guesting on a podcast, when you're sharing, if you have a podcast and you're sharing the link to an episode and what you unpacked in this episode, if you're sharing a picture of you speaking in someone's workshop, any of those things are going to naturally build credibility. And if you're mixing in with your educational content, some calls to action for people to work with you further, it just kind of keeps planting the seed in their mind that this is what you do. Finally, stories are the best place to sell on your social media. It works so much better than selling in your feed. So I'm not saying never sell in your feed. I'm not saying never ask people to register for something you do in your feed. We do that because there are going to be some people in your world who never look at stories. I am one of them. I never watch stories. There are also a large percentage of people who only watch stories. So if you're only posting in your feed about your sales, you're missing out on a whole bunch, as Sawyer would say, a whole bunch of people who will never see your stuff. So stories, because people are getting to know you, because you're showing them the shoes you bought and the date night and the behind the scenes of you recording a podcast episode, behind the scenes of you working on this workbook, behind the scenes of you creating this report, behind the scenes of you getting ready for a coaching call, all of these things, all of these ways you're showing up as your human design profile in their lives, in their feed, in their everyday, you're kind of inserting yourself into their everyday. And then when you go to sell something in your story, they already trust you. They already know you. They already feel like you are there with them, and you are there with them in your stories. And that's a beautiful thing. I know I said that was one final thing, but I want to say one more thing. Story of my life. I find that getting into my stories and posting throughout the day what I'm doing or what's happening or things that I want to focus on. And you can totally schedule some of these out ahead of time. I don't do that, but I know a lot of people who do, and it works well for them. I find that creativity begets creativity. The more you create, the more inspired you will be to create, the more inspired you will be to create. And you will all of a sudden start to see content everywhere. And stories are the best way to train yourself as an online business owner. As an online creator, stories are the best way to train yourself to find more things to be creative about. I don't know how or why it works, it just does. It's just that once you're in the flow of it, the universe gives you more things. More things are coming in for you to create. And then your people respond, and then you respond, and it just goes over and over and over all around the mulberry bush. So if you've yet to experiment with stories, I want to encourage you to get in there today and agree with yourself that you will post 3 times, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one at night. And let that be it for a little while. Just get into that pattern. It's a muscle that you're going to build. And then over time, you will gradually increase how many times you're posting in a day. And you know what? I am willing to bet that you will even come to enjoy it because it gets you in the creative flow and it gets you in the energy of being there for your people and being there with your people. You try it out and let me know that you've done it and how it's working for you.